Bianco, welcome and thank you for joining us today.
Hey, thanks, Stefania, Georgia, and Professor Novielli as well for the for the invitation. Frankly speaking, much more than professor, I was that marketing guy Mr. Fantoni was referring before, in the sense that I have also some courses at the university, but my main activity, my main business is for this Japanese named company called Gemba, that is a marketing and international consultancy advisor. And I have also a perspective, a point of view that is coming from the experience that I have with the Boston University, where I hold a course about Italian food. So it's quite nice to have a global overview about the situation of food. And where Roberta asked me to intervene to this symposium, was quite happy, first of all. And second, I would like to continue and give a sort of global overview about the development of the future scenarios, and in particular about the opportunities that what we can call the new normality could give us for the future from an Italian and the Japanese point of view. And in particular, I have been working on the idea of Japanese food that Italians, and in particular the new generations, have. If you want, if you allow me, I will start to share the screen, and I have a short presentation that I think could be interesting for you all. Is this visible, Stefania?
Not yet.
Right now? Okay, sorry. It sounds that my sharing of the screen is paused. I don't know how. Well, should I be? Is it necessary? Okay, sorry. Let's start. Is it now working?
Yes, it is. Thank you very much.
So no, thanks to you, and sorry for this inconvenience. So what I would like to discuss with you all is about exactly the experience that we have with food. Food is not anymore just a matter of calories. It's just not anymore about fuel for the body, but it is a completely different matter. First of all, some boring numbers, some boring figures that will give us the opportunity to understand how to face the current situation. I'm sorry, I don't wanna be stressing the audience with this coronavirus stuff, but this is necessary in order to understand better how to understand the future evolution and how we can intervene in order to be successful. A strong reduction in the global GDP, and in particular, we had an interruption in the global value chain with a lot of very tough impacts on the social relationships. But this is just a matter of what we should discuss today, is to give you an overview of the possible recovery actions that we have. For what we have been concerned up to now, and for the visibility that we have right now, we are expecting a V-shaped recovery trend in 2021. We hope so, and we cross fingers, absolutely, because the situation is, we don't know if it's completely under control. But at the global overview, also thinking about some countries like China or Australia that has already controlled the situation. We are expecting a plus 8.1% in international trade increase. What about Italian food or food and beverage industry? In the last 3 years, we had, of course, an incredible increase in value added. We can say that there was a positive effect coming from the Global Expo 2015 in Milan, and the world realized even more, if possible, about the Italian food and about the values of the Italian food. It was also a matter of a new awareness from the Italian companies, because we registered an increasing dynamism of fresh and food operators and players in the international market, developing new opportunities and taking into consideration seriously the online opportunities coming from a global market. It's not just a matter of Laffer curve, it's a matter of being serious about the web and marketing. I totally agree with Mr. Fantoni that we do need to know exactly how our consumer is behaving. So that will conduct us to a completely new normal. This is a definition that I borrowed from McKinsey, a company, but I totally agree with this, because the new normal from a different point of view will be the acceleration in new trends that have emerged in the last 12 months and other that were the introduction stage now are even more than a serious stuff. And this is involving everything and all the different phases of the food and beverage industry, from the agribusiness, so from farm to fork, to the HoReCa, hospitality and hotels, and the new solutions that we don't even imagine could be reliable the day after tomorrow. There are new shapes we have to deal with. And from the perspective that we have, as I explained before, I'm dealing with several companies in the food industry and with international exposure. And what we could identify as a competitive advantage for the future is that we need to combine different elements. First of all, serious surveys about the new trends and the new consumers and the new behaviors of consumers. There is an emerging and increasing complexity we have to deal with, and the companies, the enterprises, must approach to them with a holistic perspective, combining both analysis, big data, small data, and so on, and the experience, because experience will be the winning goal of the next future, of the very next future. So, which are the trends we have to deal with and we have to take into consideration for the development of new strategies, focusing on the food experience. Food, as already introduced before, is not anymore just a matter of fuel. It's a sort of philosophy. A philosophy that is a quite complex combination of nutrition seen as a well-being element. The food experience, we have to entertain the customer, And we have to deal with their new requirements that are strictly connected with the benefits and the functional benefits in particular. So the well-being side is what the market is asking right now. And the market is composed mainly, and we are realizing that the new two big groups of the next generations, that is to say, millennials and Z generation, are coming, are seriously coming. And there is a strong demand about specialty foods, free from and plant-based, keeping an eye about the transparency of the company and absolutely focusing on the innovation seen as an element for a global sustainability of what we are asking as a solution to the food request. So the new food and beverage strategy for companies dealing in this industry is trust. We have to build a reputation, we have to be transparent, and there are a lot of researches that are confirming this at a global level, not only for traditional markets, but also for the new markets. And all the elements are participating to the creation of a new perspective, of a new reputation on the incoming customers. So that is to say that, for instance, packaging. Mr. Fantoni before discussed a lot or introduced a lot of the subject about the nice packaging and the exciting appeal that a nice packaging could have. It's not only anymore just a matter of good looking, but it's a matter of being part of a global, how could we say, perception. Sustainable packaging draw, these are figures that could give us an excellent point of view. Sustainable packaging was one of the drivers of the evolution and the increase of food packaging in the Italian market. So that is to say that looking for very specific free from elements is a plus. And these consumers are ready to pay a premium for this plus. In addition, this lockdown period was a sort of standby moment in order to understand better. And here I give you an overview about the situation of the local market for Italy. To take into consideration the proximity. So I don't know if it's due exactly to the block of international global chains, supply chains, or it is a matter of sort of commitment to the local community. But what happened is that in 22% of Italians, there was a different perception about local products. And post-lockdown, this trend has been confirmed. And there is, as you can see here, the 49%, almost half of the population has modified, has perception about the products. So this new trend could constitute a good competitive advantage to be transferred also abroad, This is the question I will try to reply in the next minutes. What we can confirm is that for Japan, but also for the Italian domestic market, there is a strong commitment with the very local regional traditions that have been in a certain way rediscovered. Here we have an ambassador of the Made in Italy, that is Italy, that has been multiplying the offering throughout the entire world with the different branches, we can say, of their company, that is to say, the stores that they have in the main cities all around the world. And they started the activity of communicating and suggesting and explaining why the Venetian food is different from Neapolitan ones or Sicilian one. This new idea that we have about the local food is in a certain way blocking or reducing the attention to the international food. So for the new generation, which is the trend that we have in mind, that they have, I'm not anymore a millennial, unfortunately, that they have in mind about the approach to food. So definitely they are multicultural, multinational, and there is a consolidated globalism. For them, food is fusion, is experimentation, is curiosity, and taking seriously into considerations the principles that we have seen before, that is to say, free from well-being, transparency, and so on. They are absolutely looking for something different, for something new. For players of the food industry, there is a big opportunity, but they have to dramatically modify the value proposition. We have to move the value from the oldest perspectives into the new ones and create new synergies, new hybridations that could be meaningful for those guys. The market has changed a lot, even if we are living in a favorite place that is called Italy, where you can go just outside your main door and find a local market with very fresh products and so on. There has been a dramatic increase in the e-grocery online channel in sales in 2020, and there is a new a new approach to the out-of-home market. So food delivery is growing a lot and is expecting to arrive to reach the 1 billion turnover in 2021. So going digital, which are the new trends that we have to take into consideration that could be absolutely interesting from a Japanese or Italian from the Italian side in Japan point of view. We have people that are not anymore involved that would like to save time, and they will not delegate. We can see a couple of those buying personas on the left side of my chart that are delegating to technology or other people, experts, the choice of what they are going to eat on one side. On the other side, the food will become more and more an experience. So an experience that is founded on new approaches. So we have a new form of customer convenience on one side. On the other side, we are asking for a one-to-one food for what is possible right now, but in the near future will be absolutely dramatic in change and evolution. And what about Japanese food in Italy, in our domestic market? Let's have a look about the perception of millennials and Gen Z as well. They have absolutely a positive approach about ethnic food. 72% are usually eating ethnic food. They are looking for, as you can see on the right side, they are looking for information. So the first takeout that we could have is that any company must invest a lot in communication and create opportunities for those we can call consumators. So the consumer that is becoming the very real actor of the process. Restaurants are requested to be just not a place where you can go and eat, but a space in which you have to experience according to the tradition. And 1/3 of those young guys are asking for experiments, new inventions, new proposals, something that is not known and that will them enjoy together with the good taste or good flavor of the food. So emotional factors on one side, innovation in consumptions and services, new culinary styles, and tailor-made experiences. It's quite a tough challenge for companies, and is absolutely an excellent challenge that could see new winner in the market. So in specific about the Japanese food in Italy, 50% of the millennials are considering it as the first choice, sushi, and not only the first choice for ethnic food. And in total delivery business for the year 2020, so last year, the Japanese food was the third. I think it could be just after pizza and something else. So Japan is seriously considered. Japanese food is considered seriously, and the brand Japan for young people, for youngsters in Italy, is full of positive values: longevity, health, wellness, culture, quality, innovation. Sorry, but if you remember my very first words, is exactly what the youngsters are looking for. So we can say that the Japanese food, and I can add also another word here, fashion, because it's absolutely in fashion to eat Japanese. So which could be once again the future scenario and the future possibilities for Japanese operators and players in the Italian market. For the future, the Japanese cuisine has already the basis, strong basis about that medical conception of food we have seen before. So this is already a competitive advantage that is very well appreciated by the youngest generations. First of all, so you don't need to build up a new reputation, but there are already strong elements that are confirming what you have been proposing in the last centuries, we can say. On the other side, Japan is seen, we have seen before, is seen as a land of innovation. So, and of stronger cultural elements. So, innovation and cultural elements could become, in combination with the phygital experience, an excellent driver to the growth for the next years. And if we are looking forward a little bit more to 2030, we will see that we will arrive to develop the DNA tailor-made medical menu that will be exactly not boring like one is expecting if the menu is decided by the doctor, but it should be also fresh, nutrients, and exciting. So there are also new contaminations about the channels that we can use to reach the new generations. The healthy on the go, the vending machines that have been considered the temples of junk food in the past will become synonymous of speed and quality and health with some eco-friendly packaging and very fresh products on one side. On the other side, we had discussed about the evolution of restaurants. We are expecting to modify the current structure and organization of restaurants. So that is to say, a fast gourmet that will substitute in a certain way the ancient, we can use this word, I hope, the ancient experience of fast food. And we are going to blending situations like the grocery, where the combination between grocery, the shopping experience, and the dining experience, restaurants, will be winning and amplify the value of the of food for the customers. And last but not least, all those elements that are strictly connected with the grab on the go, where the Japanese ingredients and plant-based are already perfect to go into and according to the new requirements from the new generation. So, according to this, and I'm at the end of my speech. According to this, I hope time was really short, but I hope to have given you some hints about the future development. There is a lot to do, in particular for companies, and we need to approach in a completely different way. Otherwise, we risk to lose the markets and to lose the consumers. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Michele Bianco, for your interesting speech about Japanese food and Japanese experience of food. If you have 5 minutes of time, we would like to invite the audience for comments and questions.
Of course I have, and I'm really pleased about.
May I, as usual? Well, Michele, I know you're also an expert of all those strategies through which food is a very useful means to attract tourism towards any region, I mean. Do you think the younger Italians will be attracted to Japan through this new generation of Japanese food distributed in Italy?
Absolutely, yes. I'm quite convinced, and the effect that the Japanese food is a matter of culture. It's like native digitals. For us, for my generation, Japanese food was ethnic, we can say, and was not part of my childhood. Those guys, the new Gen Z or millennials, have seen their parents bringing them to sushi restaurants, and they had also the idea from the very beginning that Japanese food is excellent, healthy, and so on. And they are quite curious about the Japanese culture. So I'm in the position to discuss with a lot of young people because of the courses I'm teaching on, and all of them are quite curious and quite excited about the Japanese culture. Oh, my dream is to go in Japan and eat onomatoyaki, teriyaki, and so on, and also see the culture and also appreciate people and so on. So there is quite a strong commitment about the nation and about even more in these troubled times where we do not have the possibility to travel. So, sitting in front of a Japanese dish is a sort of anticipation of the experience. So, for the next month, we should put a lot of pressure on this in order to increase the attention and increase also the excitement that will immediately after the official let's go wherever you like activity that the younger generation will do. So I'm quite convinced about this. And according also to what Mr. Fattori said before, also for the Italian companies, I think that there is quite a unique opportunity if they are capable to understand and to suppose in a certain way, to marry exactly the words that Mr. Fantoni said before, to approach the Japanese market exactly in the same way.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We have one last quick question from Aldo Russo.
Yes, Mr. Bianco, thank you very much for your very interesting speech, especially about the transition of young consumer interest in the light of also of the digital revolution. I had a question regarding the marketing of Japanese food experience in Italy, because you gave a speech also about how for Italian consumers is perceived Japanese food. And I think that you showed us some figures in which for Italian consumers regarding ethnical food, Japan is one of the first choices.
Is the first choice.
The first choice. But what really make me think is that on one side we have the perception of Japan as Japanese food as healthy, sustainable, and so on. But the vast majority of shops or restaurants that actually sells Japanese food are based on the business model of the all-you-can-eat. And all-you-can-eat is anything, but is very far from being sustainable, from being green or ethical. So how these two visions can coexist from the marketing point of view? Do you believe this vision, the shift of young consumers will eventually put an end on, I said, all-you-can-eat-based business plan and so on? What do you think about that?
Quite a tough question. No, you're right. But I think that we have an example that could be used in order to reply to your question. A domestic example about pasta. Okay. If you think about pasta, when you go to the supermarket, you can grab a packet for as much as 39 cents or 49 cents, or you can spend 3-4 euros for the same quantity of pasta. Okay, and since the very beginning and after the crisis of 2008, the market was suffering a lot, blah, 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 and consumers were looking for price opportunities. Okay, now we have started to modify our perceptions, and then now some pasta producers that have been a sort of vision. I don't know if I can make an example or not, but transforming and converting the entire production into made in Italy, short supply chain, totally green, with no emission or with zero carbon balance and so on. That for sure were pioneers and were more expensive than the others, now are having definitely their success, because the market is going in that direction. So when you sit in front of all you can need for 8.99, I think that also young people are thinking about, oh, what I'm really eating for 8.99, and have a couple of young colleagues in my organization, and we were discussing about Japanese food before, and they will say, hey, we now are looking for real and the real and signature Japanese food with, if possible, Japanese ingredients and with Japanese culture inside. So I think that the market, like Philip Kotler says, customer is king and market is king, but content is queen. So what we have to support and what we have to develop a lot is the a global experience that is not anymore just what you put in the dish, but it's what you put in your social channels, what you put in your website, what you put in all the events that you are organizing in order to involve people, of course, not physically right now, but we hope that in very few months. I don't know if I've replied to your question, but it's a matter of time. It's a matter of soliciting the young people with the right stimuli. Otherwise, if they do not, it's like for us when you go abroad and go for a pizza or a pasta. I always discuss with my American students about the Alfredo spaghetti meatballs. That is not absolutely existing in Italy. And the first thing that I ask when they are arriving in Italy, or where I can find the real Alfredo. I'm sorry, guys, I can tell you the truth. Santa Claus doesn't exist, and the real Alfredo doesn't exist as well. So it's a matter of being real and being informed.
Thank you very much for your answer.
Thank you very much, Michele Bianco, for your time today.
Thanks to you. It was a pleasure. Thank you.